Okay, what we're going to do today, we're going to work on this pc40-6. As you can see, it's been leaking down by the main gearbox area. I've kind of scraped it away a little bit there. Let's cut that one, which is the left side, and we got this one for the right side. But as you can see, it has been leaking. And inside there's some hoses behind that plate. At first I used to think that, well, that would just hit that held oil back there, but it don't. It just has, that's the access hole for the hydraulics, for the hydraulic motor for the main shaft or the drive system. So we're going to get into that, take that off here in just a minute, and we're going to see what the problem is. Okay, as you can see, I've taken the plate off there that went down here that covers up the drive motor, and then that's the drive motor, as you can see right there. And you got 4 hoses coming from that, and as you can see, it's dripping right down there. It's running, so it's leaking somewhere on one of these hoses. That one looks new, but it is rubbing against the side where whoever installed this did not push it away from that side there. So it could be a new hose leaking. So we'll have to crank it up, put it in gear a little bit, and see if we can, with a partner. You always want to have somebody working with you on this, especially if you're going to be running the motor, and see if we can spot the leak. Okay, what we got here is it's actually a leak here in this cylinder. If you can see, the little drip, I wiped it around it, dripping right there. It's coming off the couplings of the hoses, the hydraulic hoses. I found out that there's several of these that are loose, just a little tiny bit. So that's probably the problem. I hope we'll see over time, whether after I tighten them all down, whether it leaks or not. Okay, this is a pc40-6 Komatsu, and as you can see, what we're going to be doing on some of the maintenance today is we're going to be taking this hydraulic cylinder loose and repacking, resealing it. But when you want to do this, you want to make sure you have some help, because it's not really heavy, but it could be awkward to try to get the pin out and support the hydraulic cylinder as well. So all you have to do is just to take the bolt loose. Don't take the pin, the main shaft pin, don't take it all the way out unless you got that supported. Alright, and another thing to do is to take those hydraulic lines loose, because there will be some pressure on the rod itself, and it makes it easier when you got the pressure relieved a little bit there. Okay, but make sure that the arm itself, before you do that, is situated and it's locked down in position to where it won't be falling on top of your head. Okay, parts come in, quite a few parts there, and as you can see, we've got the cylinder out. It was kind of tough cylinder to get out of there. The end of it, the nut, the little nut right there, it's hard to get. It took 2 people to get that out. That's what the shaft looks like once you get it pulled out of there. Then you got another big nut at the bottom. That's what we're going to try to get out next. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to hook this part back up to here again, so that way it has something to hold on to, let it hang down, and we'll try to get the nut free. I got a friend of mine helping me out, so we'll be getting on it in just a minute. Okay, a little bit of advice here. Okay, it's all been put together, all the little rings and seals and all that kind of good stuff, but we always want to make sure that that nut right there at the end of the shaft, which is inside the cylinder, is back on. Make sure it's back on, because if not, what happens is it gets hard to get the other piece at the end of it out to put the nut back on. So make sure that you get that nut right there, that big old nut, which looks like a little, little lock nut. Just back on there before you put it back in the cylinder. Okay, that's one little lesson we're learning here. Okay, we've got the main boom hydraulic cylinder back up in place again, and we made sure we hooked up all our hoses. They're all tight, and you want to be able, once you get your hydraulic fluid back into the tank again, work your hydraulics, all of them, so it gets all the air out of them. Okay? Alright, this is Tom Highsmith. Y'all have a good one. This has been for the PC40-6 Komatsu. I guess that's how we pronounce it nowadays. Okay, also on the PC40-6, we're going to also show you where some of the grease fittings are located. As you can see, some of them are located right in there. And you've got some more for the main legs for the blade there, and there's another one on the other side as well. There's one that's up underneath all that dirt there on the piston shaft part of it. You've also got some more that are located up inside for the gear shift, or not the gear shift, but the handles themselves. They're located both sides. And anyway, the grease are there. I usually put my grease gun, you know, right there where it's easy to get to, and I remind myself to do that. Okay. Also up here, you've got one here. That's the main boom, hydraulic cylinder, and you got the upper one, which is the which does the claw part of it. And you got one here. This one here, which controls the bucket itself, the tilt of the bucket. And you got several of them. There's actually 4 of them in that area there. Now it's also, if you notice, it's good to have some holes on the bottom of your bucket to drain water out of it. Okay? Now let's walk back this way. And if you'll notice, right down there, in front of the, where the track's located, right in there is another grease fitting. That grease fitting controls the tension on your track. Okay? Be sure you grease that each day, because it will undoubtedly save you from having to put a track back on. Okay? Now, over here, you've also got a hydraulic, like a little sight glass, where you can see what your hydraulic level is. And of course, right here, where you put your hydraulic fluid. And right here you have an hydraulic filter. This hydraulic filter is up underneath this plate. Now that plate also has a spring, fairly good sized spring on it, so be careful taking it off. It's not that it's going to pop up in your face, but you know, it could be under pressure, so be careful. This is for your fuel float, the electrical part, and of course this is for putting your fuel. And on this particular machine here, of course, you got your key switch and horn button, which is not on right now, and the glow plugs. Okay, this is your light switch. This one ain't working. It's froze up, so we don't even use it. So anyway, on this side over here, which is the right side, got the same thing there for tensioning, and you got grease for there. This is for tilting your boom sideways from one way to the other side, but I usually use the turret to do that. Okay, grease fitting there, and they had one on the other side over there too for the main there. And that's basically all there is for the PC40. Oh yeah, a couple of little things while we got here. The little pedal on the background back there, that's for your forward speed. It will make you go faster if you need to go faster there. There's also up underneath here, right there, that's another little checker for your turret, to check your fluid level for the turret. Make sure you check that pretty often. Okay? Okay, this is the PC40-6's motor. It's a little 3-cylinder diesel. It's got the radiator right there. This is a fuel filter. I lifted it up a little bit with these washers because it was hard to get off down here below. So I put washers to lift it up higher. Make sure on these injectors that you put some kind of additive to keep them clean. Because these babies here are anywhere from $300 up to $500 a piece. So make sure you keep them clean. You got the exhaust, oil dipstick, of course your oil filter, and your alternator. And you've also got your air cleaner, your air filter, but you need to check that pretty often, okay? Basically that's it. And of course you got down here, these are motor mounts. This one's cracked. It's got to be replaced sometime or another when I get around to it. But that's basically it on the engine. And of course you change the oil up underneath it, and the filter, keep that changed pretty regularly. I usually do about every 50 to 100 hours, depends.